Uday, beyond Carlton core committee always meets, I'm sure
Yeah.
regularly meeting. Do Carlton fire survivors
Yeah.
and families who lost their kin meet periodically to discuss not what happened, to discuss what should be done?
Uh, well, it's primarily the Beyond Carlton team that meets more often than not. It is less to do with let's say the other survivors who are there. Uh, I think where that stems from is at the end of the day, we're all individuals. We all have our perspectives on life and the way we want to look at it. What we have realized is we cannot enforce my thinking or somebody else's thinking and trying to be passionate about fire safety, because I also feel at various points in people's lives, some of these things become relevant, and some of them, the more important things in their life could be taking care of the family, educating their kids. And I wouldn't fault anyone for that. I think maybe if I was 20 years younger, I would have been in the same situation as they are. So we meet more often as the Beyond Carlton committee rather than the average survivor from the Carlton incident.
Uday, another short break here. Hi listeners, this is H.S. Balram. You are listening to my Sunday talk show, Namma Bengaluru this week. In the hot seat with me is Uday Vijayan of Beyond Carlton. He won the prestigious Namma Bengaluru Award this year. Please stay tuned. I will be right back. Hi listeners, welcome back. This is H.S. Balram. You are listening to my Sunday talk show, Namma Bengaluru this week. Today's guest is Mr. Uday Vijayan of Beyond Carlton, that is set up after the 2010 Carlton Towers fire tragedy to bring in accountability and create awareness about fire safety. Mr. Uday Vijayan won the prestigious Namma Bengaluru Award this year. The award is an initiative of the Namma Bengaluru Foundation to honor the real heroes of Bangalore. Uday, how many high-rise buildings, according to you, are unsafe in Bangalore?
That's a loaded question. I don't think we'll be able to give you a factual answer to that. But it may be safe to say that a fair amount of them are fairly unsafe, especially in the more crowded parts and the older city. If you really look at that, where there's no form of any building code or building, you go into the Majestics and the Ballet-Pets and the Chick-Pets, I'm sure there will be everything which is only full of violations there. So it is tough to put a number to it, but it would be safe to say that there's a fair amount of unsafe buildings in the city.
Even after the tragedy, Carlton tragedy?
Even after the tragedy.
That is frustrating.
It is absolutely frustrating. It is absolutely frustrating.
Mr. Uday, I believe even government buildings like utility building in Vikas Sauda are unsafe.
Well, that's really what we've read too. I mean, we thought at least where somebody stays and lives would be a lot safer than where somebody else stays and lives, but it doesn't seem to be the answer. And you're absolutely right. I have also read media reports which seem to indicate that some of the well-known Bangalore government buildings are also unsafe as per the fire department.
Uday, isn't it sad that we as people, as government, only react and do not act? We don't prevent anything to happen. Like Veerappan's case, only when he strikes we make all promises, we'll do that, this and that, and keep quiet or go to sleep till he attacked again.
Yeah.
Same thing is happening to fire department or fires.
I'd like to just, I think and I'll talk about Bangalore and not so much other cities, and I'm sure my response is true of other cities too. I think as a city or as a state or as a nation, we are just not gearing ourselves up with public amenities that should also be growing at the same pace as the cities are growing. It's a complete failure of public utilities and what we are delivering to the average citizen. So on the one hand, we grant notifications and land acquisitions and stuff like that, and we allow high rises and we allow the burgeoning cities to blossom, but we don't seem to be giving enough support for basic infrastructure. I would call even fire services as basic infrastructure that you need to give. The question that I have is, if you can open up a layout and offer electricity and sewage, why shouldn't the first question be, where is the fire services to cover the space? that answer the question that you had asked earlier about how many fire stations do we have and how many.
This is how I think we should handle.
Yes,
Every
you should
layout.
not open up a layout if it's not covered with fire stations. You know, that's the only way we will possibly grow.
Failure.
Completely,
Failure.
completely.
Uday, what are the different types of fires that break out every day? Rather, how does a fire break out?
Well, more often than not, from what we've learnt, most of the fires are sparked by electrical short circuits and electrical, let's say, mismanagement of some sort. And most of these lead to either small scale fires or large scale fires. The other kind of fires that exist are either explosions of sorts, be it cooking gas explosions and stuff like that. I do not have percentages of which is bigger, but it is safe to say that a lot of the fires that we see in large cities are normally out of electrical short circuits and stuff like that.
Uday, when a fire breaks out, what is the first thing one should do?
Well, the first thing that you should do is shout fire and get out of the way. Don't be in a hurry to get your laptop, get your music system, carry your television. It's maybe too late. It is your life. You need to rush out, get out of the way and scream fire so other people are also notified and you can forewarn others. So just yell fire, everybody will run, and that's the only thing you should need to do. The second thing is obviously to call the fire department.
101.
101.
Most often, Uday, when we see fire in a building, we assume that it is the duty of someone else to make the call, and we wait for someone else to respond to the situation. Shouldn't this attitude change? We have to go on stressing on this point.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think it's an excellent reference that you're making. I do think as citizens we also have a responsibility, whether you're in the fire or somebody of yours is in the fire. The moment you see a fire, intimate 101, call the fire department. They are your best hope. At this point of time, they're your only hope. Trying to go, of course you can try and help people get out, but we are not trained. We need a disaster management system which really has to come into play so that people who are just observers, wanderers, don't give wrong instructions to people. We hear, for example, in the Carlton case, there were a huge amount of passers-by who were giving out instructions for people who are on the 7th floor and above, and therefore some of them may have taken the wrong instructions and lost their lives. So we're still not sure about that, but we, from hearsay and witnesses, we do hear there were people asking people to jump. There were no possible mattresses or springs to support people from jumping. So there was no security blanket at the bottom, and which is unfortunately you could get misled because you're panicking when you're up there in the smoke.
Uday, you say that you yell for help or yell at others to get out of that building, and also call 101.
Yeah.
But before the fire engines come, what are the steps one can take?
Well, there are steps that
imagine we are caught on the first floor.
Yeah.
There is no way out. What should be done?
Well, we hope nobody is in that situation that you're saying, but I think the first thing that you should do is obviously try and find a way to move out or get out of that place. So if there is a staircase that helps you reach out to the ground floor, I think you should try and reach out to the staircase. Please do not try and jump walls or jump out of windows. Do not use a lift. Lifts will always get stuck, and we learnt it from Carlton. We've learnt it from other incidents that in fact they are most lifts you will see outside a lift which says in case of fire do not use lift. And our advice is please never ever get into a lift if there's a fire. You are most likely going to get choked in between somewhere. So you have to reach out to a staircase. That's your best hope, and then come down slowly in the best possible manner that you can.
Uday, public apathy and system failure during fire accident is a national phenomenon. It is not just contained to Bangalore or Carlton. Have you taken, or do you plan to take beyond Carlton to the national arena?
Yeah, we do. We have made some small inroads in terms of trying to take this to a slightly national level. We ourselves have participated in national debates on television channels and stuff like that. I myself have been to Delhi and participated in some shows. But the more important thing is we've also been reached out to by the Upahar Association, by the association in Calcutta after the Stephen Court incident, and therefore the issues are the same whether you are in Delhi or in Calcutta or you are in Bangalore, and therefore we are trying to see if we can get some kind of a national law which is a lot more stringent. The issue today is that the laws around violation of fire safety is very, very weak. So let's say in the case of Carlton or in the case of any other incident of this sort, it is very easy for people to apply for bail and be out on bail in whatever 24, 48 hours, 1 week, 1 month.